Hi, Kiana. It's Mr. T. Just wanted to show you real quick how to do this nouns and adjectives business. The only difficulty is going to be when you have to match, say, a noun of one declension with an adjective from another declension. You've only seen, or you're only expected to know, I think, first and second declension adjectives like bonus or bona. I'm going to make this magnus, magna. You haven't seen, there's actually another form too, which is for neuter nouns. You're going to see sooner or later these adjectives are us, a, for masculine, feminine, and neuter. And of course, they all have cases and numbers too for each of those. Okay, so what you're going to be asked on the midterm is take a third declension noun, I think, and match it with a first and second declension adjective. And that's the only tricky thing that always messes people up. I mean, routinely, this is 4 points blown by students on the midterm, at least if last year's any guide. Anyway, so on the left here, I have this forms PDF, which is basically like reference material that's at the back of Ecce Romani that I turned into a PDF a long time ago. So on the first page of that, you see nouns of first, second, third, fourth, and fifth declension. You are only responsible for first declension. For second declension, either masculine, no, second declension just masculine. You've seen baculum, neuter nouns, but you're not responsible for knowing how they work or what their endings are just yet. But you are responsible for the masculine ones, and you have examples of those here. A lot of them are us nouns, but there's also er nouns like puer or ager or even vir. Those are all second declension, and from this point forward, or from genitive singular forward, they all share the same exact endings. The only variability you have is nominative singular, and it's either us or er, or just an r. For third declension, it can be a variety of things, but again, you're only responsible for the masculine and feminine endings in third declension, and they're the same, masculine and feminine. That's a tricky thing about third declension is that the nouns have the same endings, so you're not really sure whether it's a feminine or a masculine noun. Like pater is obviously masculine because it's father, it's a male sort of word, obviously. But vox, you sort of just have to sort of know that vox is feminine, and one of the ways you can do that is by remembering magna voce, and that's what brings me to this here. That is an example of a magna, which is a first and second declension adjective. You can find these on the second page of this forms thing here, modifying a third declension noun like vox. So here's how that works real quick, and then I'll do some examples really quick. If you look at magna voce, voce, we'll start with a noun. Voce is ablative, it's feminine, and it is singular. So those are the three ways that you think about nouns and adjectives when you're matching them: case, gender, and number. So the case here was again ablative, the gender was feminine, and the number means singular or plural, not the number of declension. That's a different thing. So here, when we talk about number, we mean just singular or plural. So if you look, you see ablative, feminine, and singular. For this declension of a noun, we see voce or patri or nomine. Again, you don't have to know neuters, just these two. But voce is ablative, feminine, and singular. And then if you consider these adjectives, this word magnus or magna, or as I said, magnum, sooner or later you'll see more neuter stuff. But if you look at ablative and feminine and singular, you're going to see that long A right there. And this is how we come up with magna voce. It matches in ablative, the case, it matches in feminine, the gender, and it matches in singular, the number. So, just by way of a quick another example here, I'm going to take the word pater or forms of pater, which means father, and we're going to say big father, for different cases and numbers for big father. So, patre, if you study your declensions here, you're going to know that patre, that E at the end, is an ablative singular. See, there's a is-ema and then ace, ibus, ace, ibus, or the big five cases: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. There's a little, I think I put up a declension song which goes blank is ema, third declension for today, ace, ibus, ace, ibus, say it next. So anyway, we look at patri, and then we say, okay, it's ablative, it's masculine, and it's in this singular world here. So patri. So how we modify patri with a form of magnus or magna. And first of all, we're going to start with magnus. That's the masculine form of big. So we're going to say, once again, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to say it's ablative, it's masculine, and it's singular. So patri, we're going to jump down now to the forms of the adjective, and we're going to say, okay, ablative, masculine, and singular. Singular all here, plural all here, by the way. But ablative, singular, masculine is magno. The O at the end is for this declension. By the way, when it says first and second declensions, this is first declension. These feminines, and you'll see that they match up with nouns above. I, ah. That's the same as these first declension adjectives here. So these adjectives that you're seeing live both in the first declension and the second declension world. So that's why they're called first and second declension adjectives. So anyway, but we match patri with magno. I think that's, yeah, I mean, I can't make a, what can I get? For some reason, I'm not able to match that font, but me being a very type A person, of course, it's driving me nuts. But patri magno, the O is a little outsized, but that's a match there. Patri magno. So on the midterm, you'll see patri, and then you'll have to match it with some form of magnus or maybe bonus, which means good. But they're both adjectives from the same first and second declension. So if you know those adjective endings, right? These two, masculine and feminine only, no neuters have been given. Then, and then you also know third declension. Then you're going to be able to match those. So let's try one more. So patris, right here, we're going to look at patris. Patris, if you look down third declension, we see ace is both nominative and accusative plural. And it's again still masculine, but now we have a singular and a, no, we have only plurals here, patris. That's supposed to be a long E, just so you're clear on this. I'm going to change the font. Sorry, it's driving me nuts. I'm going to make it this, see if that works. Okay, that's better. Patris. So, patris, nominative and accusative, plural, in the masculine chart. And so we're going to look at the adjective. We're going to stay with the masculine endings, and we're going to see that it could be two ways. There could be two possibilities here for matches. It could be nominative plural here, magni, and accusative plural, magnos. So we could have magni, or we could also have a match with patris magnos. Either one of those would match. Now, it probably won't be something like that on the test where you'll get confused and like, well, which one do they mean? It'll be straightforward. But here we do have two matches. And actually, if you wanted to go deeper and talk about vocative case, which we have seen, we could say vocative is also there. So, but if you look at that, what you're going to have is really the same as nominative. It's going to be magni patres if you're addressing those fathers. Oh, great fathers, or something like that. Magni patres is the way you do it, which is really the same as for nominative. Finally, let's look at patribus. We see patribus here, and we see that this could be dative or ablative plural. Still in the masculine world, so we don't leave this column here. But we notice that dative and ablative plural for this declension, or for these declensions, is is and is. So the match here is going to be is. Now that could be dative or ablative, but in this case it doesn't make a difference because they match both. Ibus is dative and ablative here, and is dative and ablative here as well. So that's the match. Anyway, I hope this doesn't overdo it, but you know, this is often a confusing thing. If there's any questions about this, just let me know. Okay, take care.